Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Wrong theme song.
Yes, this is Lord of the Rings, but we are evil in this game. We are the Nazgul, and I'm evil. All their quotes in the movies that were like, so anyhow, Shia. This is a semi-cooperative game in which each person's a Nazgul, and they are trying to work together to stop the Fellowship from dropping the ring at Mount Doom. But at the same time, only one of them will become the new Witch King.
Yeah, whatever.
You get to be an apprentice to the Witch King if you win this game.
Yay.
Okay, anyhow. But it's a cooperative game, kind of, so we like those, so let's check it out. There's a lot of pieces in this game, and so if I don't mention everything, forgive me, but it is in the rulebook when you buy the game. So, anyhow, you see there's a lot of plastic cubes over here, and there's even these Sauron cubes, which is cool, because how many games come with specialized cubes? So that's a neat aspect of the game. But the cubes represent different things. The blue cubes represent regular forces, the white cubes represent heroes, and so there are 4 different tracks here on the board. And it's a little hard to see them. The board could have been probably better designed. But there's one track here, which 1, 2, 3 ends at Mount Doom. This track here ends at the final stand at Minas Tirith. This track here, 1, 2, 3, 4, goes to the Hornburg, which is the inside of Helm's Deep. So there's 4 different tracks here. We have a ring down here, which is going to keep track of the turns. But each of these tracks, let's focus up here, shows, this is the starting thing, shows how many heroes is at Minas Tirith right now and how many regular soldiers are there. And that can increase as the game goes by. You're going to be having heroes show up over the course of the game. And there is a whole deck of heroes in this game. And it shows the different people from the movie. And this is one of those times where I almost actually would have preferred, I think, drawn artwork. But each of these heroes has a number in the top hand corner, and that shows how much Sauron wants them dead. So there's Gondorian 45, no one really cares about him, but Elrond is up to a 10. And you say, well, who's number 1? Well, number 1, of course, is Gandalf the Grey. There's Gimli number 6, and Eowyn number 7, and ooh, there's even bad guys in this deck. They can help you. People think they're heroes, but they're not. Saruman is one of those. And so there's lots of different people throughout this deck, the different elves. In fact, the most powerful person in the deck is probably not even Gandalf, but Aragorn, and he's number 2, and Sauron certainly wants him dead. And there's many other people who have special abilities who they can call him. Now, one of the things we need to look at when we look at these people is each of these heroes can show up on different tracks. Like Faramir can show up on the Ring track, and he can show up on the Minas Tirith track, but he won't show up in the Helm's Deep area. And then it also shows how much damage he does, how many hit points he has, and basically how much fear he can stop, how much he can defend against the fear that the Nazgul bring with him. Speaking of Nazgul, here they are. Okay, each of these has a click base, and it shows you what level they're at. And it's hard to see here on the video. I don't know if I can focus up on there we go. You can see they have different stats. So this Nazgul is at level 1. He has an attack of 2. He can bring 1 army with him. That's what the number underneath the 2 means. And there we went out of focus. There we go. He can draw 2 cubes out of the bag, and he has a fear factor of 0. Now, if we push him all the way up to level 10, which he can get to at some point, this is what you have to look forward to. We see that he has an attack of 6. He can bring 3 troops with him in the battle. He can draw 4 cubes from the bag, and he has a fear factor of 5. Okay, and all that comes in handy. Now, most of the game is going to take place around this little chart here. And let's draw up a little bit closer here. That's not a glare. That actually is a white thing. At the beginning of the game, you have a black cube here showing that you have 1 orc that you can bring with you to battle. But there's also trolls and Mumaskil, which is another name for the elephants, but that's on this track right here, which shows how many people you can bring into battle, or how many you have basically going around with you. And players are going to have a certain amount of favor, and there's different ways players can get more favor. They'll get a few more favor each turn, but you can get more. And they're going to take a fairly flimsy shield, and that shield will be bent, and they'll put that here, and at the beginning of each turn they're going to put out their favor, and then everybody will show their favor at the same time to see what you get. So whoever puts the most favor in cards of power is going to get to draw some of these wonderful cards of power. These cards of power will give you all sorts of special abilities. They're different things from the movie. You can see here's the Great Eye, here's the Black Gate, Summon to Mordor, the Black Corsairs, and so each of these, and most of them, and this is something I do like about the game, have ores, so there's multiple different things that you can do with the cards. If you go here to Sauron's Favor turn order, you get to decide who goes first, and you also get Sauron's Favor. There's a spot on the board over here where we'll be adding more favor each turn, 3 favor each turn, and whoever has the most favor here will get that favor also to determine turn order. Then the Witch King, whoever has the most at the Witch King will get the Witch King. He's basically like another Nazgul, except he's flat and doesn't look as cool. But you can send him around to battle, so you have 2 Nazgul to move around. Saruman's Aid lets you draw more heroes from the deck, and that comes into play during the course of the game. Gain clicks. Anyone who goes there gets to up their level by 1, but the person who has the most gets to up it by 2. And Gain Force, this is actually not bidding. You just will spend, if you look at this track here, you'll see that there's little numbers. So if I put 4 favor on the Gain Forces track, I can move the trolls here because it costs 2 to move to the next level. But I couldn't add more, but then I could say 3, 4. So I've upgraded my orcs and my trolls. The little numbers between shows how you move up the different levels. After that's been done, we then go to the questing phase. Now before all this has been done, I should mention a couple more things. First of all, there's a deck of secret quests, and everyone at the beginning of the game is going to have 2 secret quests that you're trying to accomplish. Like, for example, this person's trying to capture Helm's Deep, and they're trying to enslave the Rohirrim. Another person might be trying to slay the Ringbearer's protector, or stop the Ringbearer, or slay the Sons of Denethor, or recover the ring. They're different things, and they're worth a certain amount of victory points at the end of the game if you accomplish them. But there are also other quests. You can see them marked over here, 1, 2, or 3. At the beginning of each game, depending on how difficult you set the level, you're going to turn over several of these quests. And now when it's your turn, I can send my guy to the lowest uncompleted thing on any of the tracks, and how many are incomplete is how hard. Another thing about how hard you start the game off with. If you start on the hardest level, everything's uncompleted, and you draw more of these cards over here. But I can send this person to one of these cards, my Nazgul to one of those cards, or I can send him to the lowest thing on a track. So I can send him here to Edoras, or I can send him to Osgiliath, and people are going to yell at me for my pronunciation, or I can send him here to Weathertop. And each place I send them to might give them a special ability, might happen, but usually it will result in a battle. Like, for example, the Horsemen of Rohan. Here there's 1 hero and there's 2 regular troops in his card, and I need to go here. If I go there, I get a victory point. Yay. And there's little victory point tokens that the game has. But if I don't go there, if no one goes here, then these 1 hero and 2 troops are going to be added to the lowest track on the Rohan stage. So if no one goes there, then we're going to add them there at the end of a turn. So you can't ignore these quests because they will continue to send people to the different tracks, and that gets difficult. Now this is an odd feature of the game, but at the beginning of each round, each person has a hero put in front of them. And this is done for a couple things. One, when there's a tie in the auctioning part, then you can push your hero forward, basically use your hero, put him in a common pool to win that tie. When you go to one of these spots, it doesn't matter how many Nazgul go there, we're going to see how many heroes are there. Let's say there's 2. Each person needs to send a hero if they match from in front of them or from the common pool. If you don't have anyone, you'll draw from the top of the deck till you get someone that matches. Now you're hoping that you get villains there because they actually help you, but likely or not, you're going to have heroes that you have to fight. Hopefully you can kill off that most annoying Gandalf the Grey, although if you do, then Gandalf the White goes in the deck and you have to go kill him. but I digress. The way a battle works is you're going to have a cup. And in that cup, you're going to throw an amount of heroes and an amount of regular troops that are shown at the site that you have. Now, it is possible that some of the regular troops won't actually go in the cup because you've scared them away with your fear factor. Although that fear factor can be reduced by the heroes at the site. So, then you will put in anybody that you bring. So I got 2 elephants. And some of these battles you can't use elephants at, and some of the battles you can't use trolls at. And so there's that. And then you will throw in one of these Saruman cubes. I'm sorry, one of these Nazgul cubes for each Nazgul involved in the battle. So once you've thrown all the different enemy forces in, you'll shake up the thing, and each Nazgul is going to pull cubes according to what it says on his clicks. He can pull less than that, but that's the most he can pull. So let's say I pull 3 here. Oh, it's bad for the good guys because each of these does damage. The elephants does 2, the orc does 1, and then this Nazgul cube will do damage equal to the damage on my Nazgul figure. If I pulled good guys, regular good guys will do damage to me, and the heroes will do damage to whatever it says on a hero card. How do you take damage? Well, you can decrease your clicks, or you can move your tracks down over here. If you run out of damage, well then you're quote-unquote dead, and you move back and you start again next turn just with a lot fewer life. If you manage to kill all the heroes and all the people, and you only have 1 round each, so if you don't kill them all, then they just stay there for another day. But if you kill them all, then you'll put a completed thing on that. And there's a few other things involved that I'm not going to get into. There's walls and there's other things going on, but that's basically the gist of the game. You're going to keep going through and fighting until you get to Mount Doom, where you have to stop the heroes from getting there. If you can complete the Mount Doom scenario, and you can't do it till you're at least the 4th on the other ones, then you've won the game. Otherwise, Frodo drops the ring in and ha 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 ha. There's also a cooperative version of the game in which you don't bid. A pure cooperative version. Instead, each person will decide what action they'd like to take each turn. There's a card that tells you what actions you can take, and then you just work straight together trying to stop the ring bearers. Because as it is, you're trying to complete your secret quest. Whenever you kill heroes, different heroes will give you different victory points for killing them. For example, this Rivendell elf will give you 1 victory point for killing him. Gambling will give you 2. While if you manage to kill, let's find someone who's good. If you kill Mary, he's worth 4. So you count these, you count victory points that you've gotten during the course of the game from going to different spots, and you count your secret quests, and whoever has most victory points is the winner. Now this game has 3 settings, as I said, the easy, medium, and hard, and you can also play straight co-op, like I showed you. The game has a few problems.
I really wanted to like I wanted to like this game.
Yeah, I did too.
It was such a cool concept. This is another Lord of the Rings cooperative, but you're on the other side of the ring this time. You're trying to stop the good guys, and I thought that was interesting.
I don't hate it though. I'm more lukewarm on it. Some of the guys at the table were just very antagonistic towards it. But here's the problems with it, and there are a few. One is, and this is a minor problem, but all the Nazgul look the same.
No, they don't. Not exactly.
Okay, no, they don't. Okay, they don't look exactly the same. You're right, because they're in different poses.
Right.
But if you just glance at the board, you will not know which one's yours.
That's very true.
And there's no differentiation. I can't be like, well, I'm the Nazgul from the hood. There's no way to...
He's got his robe on backwards, yo.
But there's no way to differentiate. If we're playing the good guys, you can be like, and my axe, and my bow.
Yes.
But we're all just...
Yes.
So we can pretend to be evil, but after a while it got kind of boring and thematically because we were just doing all the same thing.
Yeah, and at one point I killed Legolas, and I felt bad.
Right. We worked together, and it was like Legolas.
Bad.
And we're like, what? No high fives there. We just killed Legolas.
We just killed the coolest archer ever.
What have we done?
It was bad. Okay. Not good.
But you can get over that.
Yes.
I think. Especially if you're an evil person and you're watching this, I don't care. I want to kill Gimli ever since I saw him. Okay. Maybe.
Wow.
Or Aragorn. By the way, Aragorn is a pain in the neck.
Yes.
Pain in the neck.
So was Merry and Pippin for that matter.
This game made me dislike all the main characters from the movie because every time they showed up, I was just like, get out of here! If they were this powerful in the game, they would have killed the Nazgul.
Absolutely.
Instantly.
Like they did in this game.
Okay. The problem that the game has, a bigger problem is that it's a little too convoluted for what it is. The pulling the cubes out of the cup mechanic is mind-numbingly irritating. It's not exciting at all. To pull the cubes out, you're like, I'm going to pull out 3 cubes. It's not like rolling, I don't know how to explain it. You're like, we sit there and go, okay, you get 4 cubes, and we put 3 blue cubes in, and we get 3 green cubes. Now let's check the fear factor, and take out those cubes, and let's throw in a cube here and look at the special ability. And there was no excitement to me for the battles. It should have been more interesting.
How is that different, though, from the pulling something out of the bag for that one game? I can't remember the name of the game where...
Thieves?
Yes, Thieves. How is that different?
Because with Thieves...
Because you love Thieves.
I do love Thieves, but with Thieves, I was putting my hand and pulling something out of the bag, and I either got treasure or I didn't. In this game, it's a war, and I expect wars to be different.
Okay.
That game, I was digging for treasure. The theme made sense. I don't pull a couple troops out of a battle. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, so you like the theme, you like the mechanic with that theme, but you don't like it with this theme.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Not to mention pulling cubes out of the cups.
I hate the mechanic. I think he's the stupidest mechanic ever. Be honest with you. No, you can plan and do everything you can for the battle, and then you still do nothing. You get your butt handed to you easy. And with Thieves, you do everything, you hire the right people, you do all the right stuff, and then you don't get anything. Hate that mechanic. Stupid.
Okay. Then, the biggest problem I have with the game is the fact that it's semi-cooperative. Because, honestly, it has to be cooperative.
It's either cooperative or it isn't.
And if it isn't, you're going to lose.
Yes.
It's like one of those games because, honestly, if you get to a point you're like, I'm not going to win. He just killed Mary. He killed Pippin. I'm not going to accomplish my secret goals. I know I can't win. Well, guess what, guys? We're all going down! And that's not even thematic.
No.
Because they just all went and did their master's bidding. You didn't see one be like, hey, man.
Right.
There are games that do this, like Cutthroat Caverns, where we all fight each other to the end.
Yeah.
But it makes sense in that theme. It makes sense in the dungeon run theme. Here, I'm not seeing it. To me, you want to play this as a cooperative game, but when you do that, you lose the bidding, which is cool.
Yeah.
And the game is almost like on autopilot. I just found it really boring at that point.
It was boring at that point. There was no... I mean, at least there was this idea of, I'm going to get these points, and I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing better than this guy over here. But with the pure cooperative aspect, it just was like, blech.
Now, Wizkids has been making fantastic games lately.
Yeah,
Mage Knight, Starfleet Battles, Quarriors, I've been loving them. So, it's, they got to have a down game, and I think this is that. I think there'll be some people who will like this. I think this is almost like a Euro game. If you like Knizia's games. No, I don't even know, but I'm just saying there's so many really cool cooperative games out there. But games like Pandemic and Defenders of the Realm, they just flow so smoothly. This one doesn't flow smoothly, and some of the mechanics just are weird. Yeah. Like having a hero card in front of you and using that to break ties, that doesn't make any sense. And so when you explain it to people, they're like, why?
Why?
Why? And then I just got Pippi.
Because
Pippi.
Pippi.
Pippi Longstocking? Pippin. So I have to fight him now. And it just was weird.
Yeah, it was strange.
Not to mention everybody kept calling Aragorn. He would come up and kick everyone's butt and then disappear again.
Yep.
I hate him now. He's like one of my favorite characters.
No, he still is my favorite character.
Okay. Well,
not letting this tainted game change that.
I'm actually not going to give this a thumbs down. It sounds like I did it, I gave it a lot of negative things. But the beautiful production, and I like the cooperative, and I have to give them high props for trying this. It's a unique theme. So I'm going to give it a sideways, somewhat tilting downwards thumb with a ring on it that changed me to one of these wraiths to begin with.
Well, I'm not even going to step on that fence. I'm going to give this one rushing river where the waves look like horses down, because that's what stopped the Nazgul.
Yeah, why did that stop them?
I don't know. It just did. It was cool, though. Looked great.
All right, go watch the movies. Watch the movies. Watch all 3. Extended version. They're great.
Sorry, just couldn't like it.
Wanted to. But you know what? Maybe someone make a variant where we will like it then.
Maybe so.
All right, until then. Anyway, see you guys next time.
Adios.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.